Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky may soon be heading back to the United States, possibly his third visit to the White House as Ukraine and the U.S. scramble to finalize the next phase of a potential peace deal with Russia.
Dear Ukrainians, both men and women, today our delegation returned from Geneva after negotiations with the American side and our European partners. And now the list of necessary steps to end the war can become workable. As of now, after Geneva, there are fewer points, no longer 28, and much of what is right has been taken into account in this framework. There is still work for all of us to do together. It is very difficult to create the final document, and everything must be done with dignity. And we appreciate that most of the world is ready to help us. And the American side is taking a constructive approach. In fact, there were meetings all day yesterday. It was a difficult, extremely detailed job. And today, the whole day is dedicated to coordination with our partners in Europe. Today, I have already spoken with the presidents of Finland and Lithuania, with the president of the European Council, as well as with the prime ministers of Norway and Spain. I thank everyone for their clear and sincere support, for all the information that helps us. Ukraine is not alone, and that is important.
On November 25th, Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council Secretary, Rustem Umerov, confirmed that Kyiv is planning for a Zelensky-Trump meeting in November, saying the goal is simple: complete the final steps and make a deal. This comes after U.S. media suggested Zelensky could show up as early as this week, hinting at rapidly intensifying negotiations behind the scenes.
The idea that the United States of America is not engaging with both sides equally in this war to bring it to an end is a complete and total fallacy. And I saw a lot of misinformation and rumors and allegations against people in this building, such as Secretary Rubio and Special Envoy Wynkoff and the President himself, that they are favoring one side over the other. That could not be further from the truth. I have watched as the President and his team have worked around the clock overnight with both sides on endless phone calls, endless meetings to try to bring this war to a close. And any suggestion otherwise is a complete misunderstanding of the facts. It's coming from people who have no idea what they're talking about, or people who are pushing their own agenda, or maybe people who don't want to see this war come to an end. I don't know. Maybe they're profiting off of it. Maybe they benefit from it in some way. But nobody in this building benefits from war. We want to see this war come to an end. And that's what the President and his team are proudly working to do. And I think the critics should just take a step back and think about what happened with Israel and Gaza. There were a lot of doubters, and we got the hostages out, and this president secured a peace deal that still exists and is ongoing today. So everyone should just respect the work this administration is doing and watch the process unfold.
But the most significant development happened just days earlier in Geneva. The once ambitious 28-point peace framework, a proposal that had alarmed European allies and even some U.S. lawmakers, has now been cut down to just 19 points.
I wanted to ask you also about this Ukraine plan. President Zelensky said today that his country would risk either giving up a partner or giving up its dignity. There's been criticism that this deal proposal...
He doesn't like it?
It's unclear. He was sort of tenuous about it.
He'll have to like it, and if he doesn't like it, then, they should just keep fighting, I guess,
The suggestion that he made, though, was that if he doesn't accept it, that the U.S. would pull back its support for Ukraine. Is that
Well, at some
accurate?
point, he's going to have to accept something. He hasn't accepted. You remember right in the Oval Office not so long ago, I said, you don't have the cards. Don't forget, I inherited this war. This war never would have happened. I inherited this war. And I thought he should have made a deal a year ago, 2 years ago.
Following the talks in Switzerland, Zelensky acknowledged the change, saying the revised plan is now more aligned with Ukraine's needs. Sensitive issues, he added, will be discussed directly with President Trump, though neither side revealed what the 19 surviving points actually contain. What we do know is this: the original plan demanded sweeping concessions from Ukraine. These included surrendering the entire Donbas region to Russia, reducing its military to 600,000 troops, and dropping NATO membership aspirations, terms that sparked immediate backlash from Europe, the UK, Germany, and France. Even drafted a counter-proposal, pushing back on what they viewed as unacceptable conditions.
Our team has already reported today on the new draft of steps, and this is truly the right approach. Sensitive matters, sensitive issues I discussed with President Trump, Ukraine will never be an obstacle to peace. This is our principle, a shared principle. And millions of Ukrainians are counting on and deserve a just peace. We will do everything for this. We are ready to work as quickly as possible. And we also understand how many interests surround Ukraine. And above all, there is an interest from Russia to derail this chance for an agreement in order to prolong the war. We see which interests are intertwined and who is working hard to weaken our position, Ukraine's position, spreading disinformation and trying to intimidate our people. We counter every such attempt to derail the end of the war. Constructive cooperation with our partners is important to us. We look after Ukraine's interests and protect Ukrainians. These are our key negotiation frameworks. I thank everyone who stands with Ukraine and does everything to help Ukraine succeed. We must also be aware that Russia will not ease its pressure on us, on Ukraine, on our people. These days and weeks, it is very important to pay close attention to air raid alerts and all similar threats of strikes. We know exactly who we are dealing with, and all orders have been given to the Air Force and all other components of Ukraine's defense and security forces. We will respond, and it would be fair for all our partners, especially the American side, to take into account the threat that their own intelligence also sees. And if there are negotiations, if there is constructive dialogue, if we are truly ending the war, then there should be no missiles. There should be no massive strikes on Ukraine, on our people. This can really be done by those who are truly strong in the world. A lot depends on America. Russia started this war. Russia must end this war, and we are creating the necessary conditions through dialogue with our partners. One more thing. Today I took part in the Crimea Platform Summit. This is a special format, the parliamentary dimension of the Crimea Platform. The summit took place in Sweden. There were more than 70 delegations from parliaments and international organizations present. The representation was strong, very significant. Countries remain on Ukraine's side. The hearts of people remain on Ukraine's side. The policy of most of our partners is based on the fact that people support us, support the courage of Ukrainians, and justice for the people and the state. It is important that the path to peace is exactly like this. And most importantly, to be strong, to be united, to be effective, so that Ukraine can achieve peace, a worthy peace. Thank you. Thank you to every Ukrainian for your support. I am proud of our people. Glory to Ukraine.